Welcome everyone to David Dudley Outdoors, and yes, today we're back in the tackle dungeon and we're going to be talking about fishing knots. I'm going to give you my thoughts on what knot to use with certain lures and the reasoning why I choose a certain knot with certain lures and not just a simple knot that covers all lures in my tackle box. So let's get started. So the three knots that I like to use are the Palomar knot, the crazy Alberto knot, which is tying my braid to fluorocarbon leader, and the double San Diego jam. Each of these knots have their purpose for depending on what lures I'm throwing. So let's talk about the double San Diego jam and what lures do I use it for. My choice for the double San Diego jam is lures that take a lot of high impact setting the hook. And what I mean by that is it could be a flipping jig. It could be just a simple Texas rig. Anything that I'm going to exert my rod, like whoosh, set it very quick, very fast, high impact situation, I'm going to use the double San Diego jam. Let me show you how to tie the double San Diego jam. Simply, you're going to take your line, double it up, put it through the eye of the hook, okay? Now, I leave a lot of tag in. See how much tag I have with the double line? So now that I have it doubled up, I'm going to bring my tag end, and I'm going to leave a lot of leader material left, like that. Then I'm simply going to take this and wrap it around one. And when it comes to wrapping your line, the bigger the line, the less wraps you need. I like 4 or 5. The smaller the line, the more wraps you're going to use. So it's 2, 3, 4. You can use 4 or 5. Now I'm going to simply take the leftover leader material, come back up to the top, push it through, and make sure you wet it like that. Cinch it down. Now the cinching is, you can use both hands when it goes to cinching this down. There we go. Now you're going to have 3 tag ends with this, okay? So you're going to have the loop tag end and you're going to have this tag end. When it comes to the San Diego jam, even with a Texas rig, even though it's a big knot, you're sliding your plastic up over the knot. They're not going to see it. Guys, they don't focus on a big knot. They're seeing a big crawdad, a big lure. They're coming down. They're not looking at it going, if that was a Palomar knot, smaller of a knot, I think I would bite this lure. Guys, they have no clue about a knot, what knot you're using. Now, this is a big, bulky knot, okay? Very bulky and big. It's a double San Diego jam. The reason I use this on high impact, as you can see, if I'm flipping a lot of cover, going, pushing it in, lay down trees, high impact, this has the strength. Say this was my finger, I'm going to have a lot of strength on my main line. It's wrapped around it a lot. It's a very good knot for high impact. Now, I'm not going to use this knot for everything. So, for example, if I'm throwing a small crankbait, as you can tell, I've already pre-tied the jam knot on here. Now, if I'm throwing a small crankbait, the reason I don't like the San Diego jam is because this knot is so big that it'll actually throw the crankbait off to the left or the right. It's such a tight knot. If it's not dead center of the split ring, it's not going to allow that crankbait to go the depth that it needs, or sometimes it causes it to run falsely in the water. So even though the San Diego jam is an extremely good knot, I don't like it on small crankbaits. Even when it comes to square bills, I don't even use it on square bills. The reason is crankbait bites typically, you're reeling, and when you get a bite, you're not like going whoosh, setting the hook. You're just like leaning into them, just kind of letting your rod do all the hook set with it. Now, on small crankbaits. Particularly, I'm going to use a Palomar knot, and I'll quickly show you how to use a Palomar knot. So you're simply going to double it up, put it through the eye, and simply do a simple overhand granny knot. Take the lure, put it through the loop, and then pull. Okay, simple knots. These knots I'm showing you guys, I know I'm going through them quick. I'm sure there's a lot of knots you know, on YouTube where you can actually see in very slow detail what I'm using. Now also with the Palomar knot, I'm going to use that knot with braided line when I'm tying straight from braid to the lure, and I'm not using a fluorocarbon leader. A Palomar knot is a good knot with braid, okay? So it could be a flipping jig, it could be a Texas rig, anything that I'm using braid and tying straight to a lure, I'm going to use a Palomar knot. So also with the Palomar knot, when it comes to deep diving crankbaits, again, I like to choose the Palomar knot. Actually, this is a Zoom crankbait made by Ed Chambers himself. You can actually see the autograph where he engraved his name, and it's called the Z4. This is a replica of the old Pose that used to be out there, but this was truly made by the man Ed Chambers. If any of y'all know who Ed Chambers is, he is the founder of Zoom. He recently passed, and just what a creator of plastics, even hard baits. Not many people have some of these special crankbaits that he made. I happen to have quite a few of them. It was young in my career. He invited me to come by his building, and when I went by his building, he said, "Come on in." I got to see the Zoom factory. He gave me a tour, and he took me into a special room, and he actually gave me a bunch of crankbaits, signed them himself, Ed Chambers himself. I never wanted to use them or throw them. I just thought it was cool that he took the time to take me there to the Zoom factory, show me a lot. But even with deep diving crankbaits, guys, same thing. We're not high impact in setting the hooks. I'm still going to use a Palomar. The big San Diego jam when it comes to lures that are retrievable like that, you know, when it comes to the Palomar knot, I'm going to use it for pretty much every crankbait that there is. So let's talk about when it comes to connecting fluorocarbon to braid. What knot am I going to use? I'm going to use the Crazy Alberto knot simply on everything that I'm using when it comes to connecting the two together. This truly is a very simple knot to use. When you're using braid to fluorocarbon, it's all about managing your fingers. So I'm simply going to take the fluorocarbon leader, put it in my left hand. I'm going to take the braid and go down through the fluorocarbon leader. I'm going to pinch it off with my right hand, as you can see the tag there, and I'm simply going to wrap it 5 to 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can go 6 times if you want, 6 if you want, but you see how I'm using these 2 fingers to use that to grab the line as I'm rotating it. So it's about managing your fingers. Simply bring it around, and you're going to wrap it back 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we went down with our fluorocarbon. Now we're going to go up with our fluorocarbon in the same loop. So this time we're going from the bottom up. So we went down, bottom up, simply wet it and pull it. Now when it comes to cutting your tags, you can cut the braided line. You don't have to cut it like extremely tight, but you can cut it very tight. And on the fluorocarbon side, you can you want to cut the fluorocarbon side as tight as you can. So go very close to the knot, cut it. Very streamlined knot, very tight, extremely strong knot. These knots All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of me explaining to you what not to use with certain lures. It is a complicated deal. There are certain lures, like you just saw in the video, I may not have mentioned in the video, like I had a spinnerbait laying here. I'm going to tie the San Diego jam on it, the double San Diego jam, even on spinnerbaits, chatterbaits. If I'm throwing a chatterbait, straight braid, I'm using Palomar. Guys, you get the gist of it. The San Diego jam is the one that's complicated. It can throw lures off. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for checking in on this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Surf around on the channel. We got a lot of stuff here. I'm going nowhere. Thank you. I feel like I got the best fans in the world. And I'm out.